So let's discuss about chapter 8, the forensic examination of handwriting. Systematic examination of handwriting. So ang forensic document examiner, nagamit siya ng systematic approach para sa examination of handwriting. Having a standard method of operation assures that a complete and methodical analysis is conducted and meets the requirements for expert testimony. So, look at in the page 83, na dihang below are the procedures to be followed in handwriting examination. So, first is preliminary procedures. So, there is a preliminary procedures, mag-determine diri whether ang material is a good quality kuno, and mag-contain siya ng sufficient characteristic na isa ka handwriting na that can be compared. Then, mag-determine sa siya if ang exemplars kuno are suitable for comparison sa isa ka question material. Then, magkuha sa siya enough nga comparable material to draw conclusion about sa mga question documents. So, ang ikaduha is ang initial examination. So, search of obvious signs of forgery in the question material. Then, if there is no obvious kuno sign of forgery, i-determine kuno if there is any evidence kuno of self-disguise. So, disguise writing is a conscious of deliberate attempt to alter the normal characteristic of one's handwriting to prevent recognition. So, i-kuan ko niya deliberate attempt to para i-alter ko niya ang normal na characteristic. Tapos, there is a katuyo, detailed examination. So, i-compare ko na ang question document sa known handwriting. Tapos, i-determine sa diri ang differences. If differences are the result kuno of natural variation or different writers. Number 4, making an identification. So, list the i-take down kuno nimo ang similarities and differences between sa question document and sa known document. Tapos, i-determine nimo if there are enough kuno similar identifying characteristic without any significant fundamental divergences to make an identification. So, there is amoy ni ang last na iton procedure sa handwriting examination, which is ang elimination. So, to eliminate a writer kuno, one must know all of the different ways a writer can write. So, dapat ibayo kuno kita sa mga different ways of sa isa ka writer na kung saan siya pagsuyat. Then, this requires much larger samples of known handwriting before elimination can be made.
So, movement line quality and alignment. Naidre uno mo ka kakuan sa line quality and alignment. So, number 1 is the finger movement.
So, there is a finger movement there is ga-focus sa siya almost sa entire by action sa thumb o sa first and second finger ang isa. One actual extend to the second slightly to the third joint. So, amura kibali ni ang isa movement employed sa isa ka bata and literates and generally those with home writing is an unfamiliar process. So, kibali diri ang mag-move ra is ang mag-action ra is amot tong thumb and the first second of fingers. Then the slightly and the second and slightly to the third joints. So, ang sa handwriting movement is nag-produce siya ng most part by the action of hand as a whole with the wrist as the center of action but slight action of the finger. So, hand movement writing kibali whole kuanin siya diyon sa kamot gani.
Tanan mo lingas.
Oo. Then sa forearm and muscular movement rely really comes from the shoulder. So there's a forearm of muscular movement, maapil na dire ang kuan ito movement na nimo shoulder while ga right ka. Then the whole arm movement in writing is the action of entire arm without wrist. So diri kibali ang whole arm writing is kuan siya action na kibali siya ng entire arm nimo without the wrist. Tapos there is a line quality is dependent upon the writing instrument. The writing surface, the relation of the movement, line quality, and alignment writing.
Writing instrument.
Writing instrument to the writing surface, the muscular scale of hand control of the writer, and the manner of writing movement employed. So, ang straight line ko no is not only a shortest distance between sa point, but also sa quickest distance sa line quality and sa writing always indicates sa speed. Then sa mga force and sa freedom sad na with which was produced. So, there is a alignment by a few writers in making all the capital letters in writing, as in printing is the relation of several characters of a word. So, differences and deviation of alignment condition are due mainly to difference in movement, in position, dahil sa position ko no, and sa design sa isa ka letters, di ba? Makakuha na to diha nila sa alignment na dajon sa ilang mga position, kung ilang position, then sa ilang mga design sa uno kadagkuha, uno ng mga klase na pagkakuan, suyat. Then, in many writings, alignment is characteristic of much significance and shows many unconscious individual habits and should always be considered as examining writing. Kinagyan na ta sa handwriting and handprinting examination.
Line quality, the scale of writing, knowing letters and words define the overall character of the writing strokes from the initial to the terminal. Next is the spacing of words and letters. The average amount of space placed between the words and the formation of the letters. Ang average daw sa amount of space between the words and the formation of the letter. Ratio of relative height, width, and size of the letter. Consistencies in the formation of the letter as the height of width and size. Before is pen and left and separation.
So, there is a pen and left and separation. The manner in which one stop writing to form a new letter or words. So, kuan ko no siya, isa ka manner siya na once mag-stop ko na isa ka writing to form a new letter of words na dajon. So, sa connecting strokes, connecting capital letters to lowercase letters, connecting stroke within letters. Pareha sa itong tagbuhat, yan na to, di ba? Once magkuha di ba? Like, kasi terminologist na tagbuhat. So, iba yun naman kung ano na. So, there is a beginning and ending stroke. When one beginning, a letter formation or numbers, and where the stroke ends as to location.
Unusual letter formation. So, the formation is of usual letters such as backwards, it is capital letters or etc. Shading, also known as pen pressure, how much pen pressure and ink width is placed on upward and downward stroke.
So, there is a shading. Depende rin isa sa kuan, isa talang pen pressure. Kung ano ka kuan ang isa sa ang pressure sa how much pressure o ang ink niya with lay sa pag sa upward and then sa downward.
Slant, whether writing slants to the right, left, straight up or down, or a combination of these, the degree of slant that exists. 12. I did. Baseline habits. Whether the writer writes a long straight line or writes with a downward slope, upward slope, bit in the middle, or etc.
So diri sa baseline habits, nagkuan sa diri sa naglaom diri na ang whether ang writer ko no mag-switch siya along a straight line or writes in downward slope, the mga downward slope o mga upward slope, bend in a middle. So flourishes, embellishments, fancy writing habits, curves, loops, also characteristic manner of letter formation such as double loops, triple loops, straight lines. Sabayan naman mo kung sana. Then there is a placement of diacritics, crossing of T's, T of Is, and dating of IS.
And other
Punctuation mark.
marks.
So, based sa kaning 12 gani ka basic characteristic, handwriting expert may make identification if there are sufficient question sample to para ma-examine siya sa sufficient amount of known exemplar or standard with which to compare. So most attempts to disguise handwriting are neither consistent nor successful. So dirito sa kuan kaning
The different structure of letter design.
Sila.
Placement of the critics.
Different structure na kita. Letter design.
Number
like hindi mo na yung spacing degrees lang. Murag na takin mo na to yung degrees lang to.
Mag-set na pinaslan
Kung pen
either sa
pressure
left or
sa
sa
ulo ni
right.
chapter. So
kini-
kaning diri sa kuan ano to paano na to kung ano na chapter. So diri ining mga rhythm, regularities tapos na may ini kagay na sa one bilong ini sa chapter. Ano ni joke mo sa chapter?
Pero ko na to 6. 7 na to sa ako.
7. Tarong ba?
Sige.
Tama din. So, ha? Ay, yun.
Normal lang itong mga island tadi.
sa Island kayo, naglay mo itong mga Island itong kuan.
Sige, natag isang punit siya may diri. Sa number 6 man ako sa 91. So 99 na ako.
Ayun na.
Si may isa ko ang sugod.
Binotive. Ayun.
Siguro na sa different structure of letter design.
So, nandun. Tapos ano?
Ayun na. Basta na.
Sino?
So degree.
So, nandun.
Degree of slant. So ang kining degree of slant, nice like two types ng slant which is right hand slant or left hand slant. So sa word from the word itself slant, so once na magsuyata ng letter, it could be pa-slant siya pa right or pa left. Then number 7, pen pressure, na ginatawag na light pressure, heavy pressure, and medium pressure. So sa light pressure once na magsuyata, so ang agi sa ato tagsuyat is nipis ra. Then pag walang heavy pressure once na magsuyat ka, ang kwan sa ato pen is baga. Then medium pressure amo ni karang sakto ra pagkasuyat. Dili baga, dili pud nipis. Sakto ra. Medium pressure gani. Placement of diacritic. How are the T-bar cross and I dots dotted and other punctuation mark applied? So kining T-bar like crossing of, so amoy ni sa kanang once na magsuyatan ng letter T kanang bitaw sa tunga na pagset na to amo daw siya T-bar. Din naay po heavy crossing T-bar, so kanang baga bitaw kanang sa tunga ng letter T o pagka cross nimo. Then short T-bar, so gamay na
John, kuan, gibali, gamay ra dyan sa
Oo.
ti. John, aniza, kuan, ba mo ra dyan. Dash yan niya, gamay ra
das gani sa
gibali.
tunga gamay ra din guys of long proportion to stem. So kung naay short naay pod long.
Sakto ray.
So
Makita man ninyo diya sa example, ang mga nagklase-klase ng mga T-bars, cross, and I-dots.
oh, there is a page 92. Then may tagtawag na location of stem. So either ang nabutang
Kinabot-abot.
nabutang is either sa ilayong ba sa tunga
Sa
or
ilayong
sa taas or usay mo
Tumoy.
labaw. pero makuang gyapon nato,
Ma-determine.
ma-determine gyapon nato na kadto na letter is letter T.
30.
Then number 9, stroke formation. So kanang magseta ng pinakahanat kanang mga stroke bitaw na naitagtawag sa needle shape kanang stroke bitaw na patalinis. For example kanang magseta ng W sa cursive writing, di ba kay patalinis man na. Then with shape kanang amora pa pointy bitaw pa V or ano ba.
Letter M.
Then curve or round shape kanang amura pa something pa loop kung magsuot ng kuan. Then loop formation kaning kung sa cursive pa kung magsuot ng small letter L mulop mga jud na. Then
Dili sa kuan circle formation. So makita ninyo diha ng mga example na like dyan yung open. Makita ninyo diha kung uno'y forma kibali dyan ng mga letter. Dinin close. Diba? Ara kaklaro ko nila mga difference sa open, close, ang broad o ang narrow niya, tapos ang ija filed. Tapos dito sa beginning and ending stroke. Bay naman mo ini, kitag sample may ini mamad to.
So magsugo sa pakon.
from the beginning amura may kuan extra pa si na kuan isa na diha kay example
O
hope
sa
na
pinakaunahan to sa ending, gagapoy. Ito pares kang Justin ba na nagpa
may kiwit.
Itong
Oo,
unit
tawag.
dyan na nasa pinakalas na line design.
So
Dito sa kuan, different structure. Kimri.
Different structure.
Kaya na mo, lumapit diri mo may
Kimri.
Different structure of letter design. Each individual has his own concept of constructing the letter of alphabet. Therefore, there is a need for definite, produce, and handwriting analysis. Without practical approach of analysis, many individuals' characteristic in handwriting may be overlooked. For those who have acquisition to examine handwriting within a limited period of time, such as signature verifiers in banks and students of question documents, the following same analysis may help. Number 1 is
Examination of small letter. So diri naga-base rin nila sa mga small letter kibali ng mga letter. So examine the oval of each letter and carefully note any points of circumference where there are deviation from absolute symmetry. So makita daw diha natang flats, angles o tremor. So diri nakakuan sabi na ang direction ng major axis of each oval. Gabase sila, di ba? Nakikita niyo side by side ito kuan mga slant niya. Di ba pato dyan pawaya dyan mga barog-barog ba? Tapos sa iban dyan sad ka kuan ra. So diri sad is each oval completely closed inputs in its upper aspect or is there a general tendency to leave tiny gaps. So amo ining Dario ining kuan nga ni dire
ya malibot.
kani oo mao ni kibali ini diri pinakauna sa first time pa waya pa siya then diri ang to dini no kuan siya no gawas na nga nini tapos diri na sad na side. Tapos diri ta sa kuan if there is no terminal upstroke, how is the letter finish kuno? Kung saan mo pag finish kung may terminal upstroke. So ingani ra may tabo diyan sa example, ingani ra may tabo pag way ija kuan terminal upstroke. Examination of small letter B. So diri magkuha na kita kuha ra ta diri ng pila ka letters kay same ra man ini sila ng mga kuan iton mga pares-parehas ra sila bagbalik ra ang mga putagon sa pagkuan pagkasuyat na ini na part kung may pangayan ini. So diri sa number 2
Examination of small letter B. Is there an initial upstroke or a bird? If so, where does it commence in relation to the baseline? what angles that it make with the letter. Is the upstroke is the stroke straight concave to the right? Is there an initial hook?
So diri bay mo tanad magkuan lisod kita diri kay di pa man tanto asa sa ini na mga kuan nga ni an mga isa proper na kuan pag kuan sa writing ni ini na mga kasi klase ng mga examination. So makita man niyo sa example di halang tangon na kaniyo kuno no ija kuan nga ni kalahian or kuno ija paagi ani na pagkasuyata. Kay like diri sa R loops are all loops symmetrical? Kung symmetrical ba daw kuno? So di ba nakita ninyo diri gamay tas dako pagka man diri open na amura dili sa ma-identify nato na B. Di ba makita ninyo?
Oo.
Examination of small letter C. So diri note the position of the lowest portion of the main curve in relation to the baseline. So magsakit na din sa baseline ang mo kibali dyan ang itatagtawag lower portion kuno sa pinakaubos ang na main curve in relation sa baseline. Tapos dirita sa kuan
Distinguish writing. So, some anonymous letters are of friendly nature. So, ang anonymous letter daw are of friendly nature.
friendly nature. Some can even in endearing such as when secret admirer ko no. Like doon sa mga secret admirer ko nimo. Send someone a love letter o mga Valentine's Day. May nga na mga pangkuhan, mga Mother's Day, mga siya.
Mga letters.
So, there are anonymous letters ko no na magamit sa deception for less innocent purposes such as obscene letter, vicious, threatening, complaints, notes from robbers demanding money in banks, counters. So, in many cases, in many of these cases, ang writers ko no disguise their handwriting as well as the mga sample sa requested from them to comparison purposes. So, when most persons who are giving a disguised specimen are confronted with a naturally written specimen, they will discontinue the attempted disguise. So, diri na tamagan sa chapter 8 and let's proceed to chapter 9 entitled The Forensic Examination of Question Document Signature.
What is the signature? See, by definition, a genuine signature is the personal mark of an individual. It can normally serve to indicate his or acceptance of some set of circumstances or to be the symbols associated with the acts and agreement. So kabay na mga taon sa unsa ni mga signature. Di bali kuan jon mga pirma like
Pirma sa isig katao.
kung natay mga agreement so need gid nato jud mga pirmahan or
Signature ganun kuan.
Ang gali pag kuan dyan kung
Kibali na kay mga
magamit ang signature
Like
pag
John
may
mga kuan nga ni
agreement.
John mga important matters na John kibalik sa kuan nato John sa mga
resibo.
sa mga resibo diba need John or John mga
Pirma,
document
para-
like John pagpa-enroll nato diba sa isa ka John ato tag fill upan diba need John na ato kuan iton
Signature.
signature or mga
Sample ka na
penmanship.
sa Palawan.
So ang signature manggod so amo ini sila if ang signature is murag sa acceptance ni or ni isang ayon kita sa isa ka
Sa
agreement
agreement
or
gani.
for example sa ingadto na document is nakasaad dito na so sa kini nakuan magbayad ka for example sa utang magbayad ka ng ingani na amount sa ingani na kuan so if mo sang ayon ka dito na kuan agreement so
Pirma jud ka.
o pero magud ka dito as pa matuod na ni agree ka sa ato na kuan na document
Kasabutan ba?
O, sa kasabutan.
Nami kasabutan.
so nag-define sa ni sa imo
Na.
Sige na kuan din.
Yan na kay
Kinds of signature kan.
Kinds of signature. The conventional and the highly individualized.
So diri sa conventional, diri is sa example pa daan, makakuha na to, makita na nato like kuan kibali diri sa conventional, mabasa ra nato ini siya ng mga mga signature gani.
Like for example,
Then kay taglaw mo ko diri ang conventional kuno is signature siya which is readable na kuno, so mabasa na nato. And form siya ng letter strokes are complete. So like for example, John, mga simple lang na apelyido ra nato na pinakanat ra, pinakatay ra ba nga na. Then there sa highly individualized, ang signature ko na diri is more often not readable, so di ko na nato ini mabasa, and has a series of ornamental strokes. Kabay naman ka mo ni ornamental strokes. So makita man niyo diha ang example, no. Then often deliberately formulated, the person's signature serves as a trademark. So signatures can be written kono sa
identification.
tangled, illegible shape, or a series of clearly decipherable letters and distinctly spell out of person's name. So dyan mga kuan nato, ito mga names kuno nato, di ba? Anato, dyan may ato mga amper man nato is naka-indicate talaga mo sa ato mga apelido or ngayon, diya. So dito sa kuan, stroke structure of signature.
Ay, na.
So there is a stroke structure of signatures. The stroke structure of signature is a series of lines and design of letters that compose of individuality and signature. So nag-compose ko rin sila ng ato kuan itong individuality signature, kibali ato ija-ija nato ng mga kuan ba signature, individual signature kibali nato.
Dito sa next is
So, classification of suspected signature. So, makita nato ini na mga alam pa sense or classification sa isa ka suspected signature. So, false signature were not attempt to have been made to make a copy of a genuine signature of a person purporting to sign the document. So, forgery signature of a fiction's person, forgery signature which closely, so ang forgery signature daw is closely nagresemble sa genuine signature since pareho sila ng tracing or process ng pag-create ng for example signatures. So forgery signature which resemble number 5
genuine signature which have been obtained by trickery. So, ang tinudo nga kuan pirma na which na obtained daw sa trickery.
Genuine signature which the writers are honestly unwilling to accept as a genuine. So, characteristic of a genuine signature. So, na ay otso ka characteristic ang genuine signature. So, ang pinakauna is the degree of skill. Genuine signature even shown that tremors will shown some free connections and terminal strokes and made by a momentum of hand. So, ang genuine signature, if genuine ang isa ka signature is full momentum na na siya wala pa na mo stop or hunong-hunong, murag fluent bitaw ang pagkasuyat. So, fairness of the stroke, the genuine signature, hesitation and pen stop are not natural place. So, ang genuine signature, dili na dili na makita sa genuine signature kanang mag-stop bitaw ang ballpen. Kay if ever naman ka pag mag-sign ka na tapos dai nakakuha bitaw na mo stop, it means na nag-hesitate ka sa pagkuhanan isa ka pagkuhanan isa ka signature.
Yun sa niya
Di ba mohunong ka anay kay kuunig sunod na sa
Diha dada mag-overthink na kada sa panabutan is
So dili na natural sa isa ka sa isa ka genuine signature.
pirma gitsudit suman.
habitual speed of writing, even slow and unskillful signature, there will be consistency of speed. So sa pag-create ng signature, if genuine na consistent and speed sa pag-create na ni sa signature, dili mo hinay, dili mo paspas, consistency sa
Even kuno sa dyan mga hinayra, tapos aning skillful signature. Joy gyapon kuno consistency na speed ni siya na may tabo. Then pattern of shading and pen emphasis. Then presence of natural variation.
has no touch signature are exactly alike. A certain amount of natural variation it is expected and consequently allowed for in a later design. So number 7, coordination, continuity and rhythm. Then 8 is carelessness.
So next is the
Standard comparison.
Dili.
Standard. Mana mo yung standard?
Non-genuine.
Ining standard comparison is natakil na nato ini siya, tapos itong mga pin list, itong mga indication of forgery kagay na
So direta sa
methodology
methodology
of
of
forgery.
forgery. So non-genuine signature handwriting. So non-genuine na dili daw tinud nga pirma nga pirma maybe generally categorized into one of 9 possibilities. Oh, dili tinud
Dito mo lang pagkasulat o pirma.
While determination of forgery may be possible, it is not always possible to assign the signature to one of these categories. So it may however be prudent for the document examiner to do so when possible, as the demonstration of non-genuineness may be much more effective. Number 2, spurious signature, simple forgery.
So, diri sa kuan ining natakil naman nato ining handwritten to sa kuan mo relate mini to na genuine signature, tapos diri sa spurious signature sa is simple forgery, di ba natakil sa nato ini sa kuan chapter
Ano ba? Chapter 3? 3 or 2?
diri sa chapter 4.
Chapter
Di ba
4
sa
na, mga
forgery? Part man sa forgery which is a simple forgery and simulated forgery. So diri sa simulation is freehand forgery ini siya. Then diri sa spurious ining without the attempt to copy ini siya. Amo to sa simple forgery. Ay di ba diri sa kuan simulated is freehand forgery siya, unusual bill of fare for question document examiner. So, dyan kibali na forgery is constructed siya using sa mga genuine signature as a model.
Sining number 4 sabi na yung tracing forgery is natakil na gyapon ni sa chapter 4, which is ato mga transmitted light, carbon intermediate or pressure intended image and tracing paper techniques. So natakil na gyapon ni siya.
Auto forgery.
Transmitted light tracing. The transmitted light tracing is the simple, moderately simple running of the tracing to those, and the one most often encountered.
So, ining kuan. So, ining methodology of forgery is natakil na nato ini siya kagayina sa chapter 4 ato tanan.
forgery tatay.
Ning ano tel kainin mga transferred of post forgery, ning mga kuan tracing, paper techniques, mga carbon medium tracing, pressure dented tracing.
Electronic signature.
Tapos sa ning mga electronic no. So diri sa electronic taglawong signature is taglawong diri na ang electronic digitized kuno signature was produced through sa digitized tablet with the use of
Digital pen.
mga digital pen which using signing electronic documents and transactions.
Kung sa mga magkakalisensya, ang doon mag
O kapareha dyan pag magkuha na kita ng lisensya, di ba? Kung nagpaperma ra kita dito through sa aton kuan machine ra na
Oo.
gigamit kumbaga dili
Makapit
siya
na
lang na
Sa SK ba?
di kung ink adto pero sign na aw kibali amo siya something ball pen na ato gamiton na kibali ang kuan na kibali ato an atong forma ra sa ato kuan ato
Direct
perma
dito sa
amoy
kuan.
ato ibutang dito tapos automatic na to na sa ilayom kibali amoy tawag yun kuan
Itong bus like itong ato sa kuan kanang magkwento sa SK kanang pa ito.
basta format siya sa isa ka machine na mo
Puting sila,
create na
tas
direct
pirmahan
sila
namin
ng
mo.
perma oh.
Sa computer mo makita ang suyat.
So, electronic signatures are just as suspect as any other copies of signature. And if those original signature are just as suspect, ang traditional methods ko noon ng identification are easily applied para mag-prove sila na it is valid or invalid. To greater degree of accuracy than the signature is a copy. So, diri mag-end ang ato chapter 9. So,
Let's move to
I hope na dahil ato nasabtan diri sa 1 chapter 9 kay related naman gyapon nila sa chapter 4. So kung dapat mo yan nasabtan is after ining sa chapter 1 to 15 magistorya ra ta about sa unang mga kalibugan or kanon diya sa cheaters. So let's proceed sa chapter 10 forensic examination of alteration. So now we will discuss about chapter 10 the forensic examination of alteration. So there is related rin nila sa tanan sa alteration. So alteration, iba yun naman ta kung ano yung alteration no. Any changes which give the document a different effects kuno from that which is originally possessed is termed as alteration. So ang kuan kuno ang as a legal term, alteration kuno means act siya purposely done on an instrument by a party thereto or one beneficially interested therein which effect a change in the sense of language of the instrument. So there is alteration kibali is ini ga-focus na siya sa any deliberate or unintentional modification gani or manipulation sa isa ka evidence. So, diri sa kuan kinds of alteration na atay diri upat ka kinds which is interlineation, superimposition, cancellation o erasure. So, diri makita niyo ang pictures about sa question na kaning kuan ngani ni 90,000 din diri sa previous entry. So, diri sa kuan interlineation kibali ini siya is insertion ini siya ng mga words or phrases in a written document. Mga written document kibali siya mga tag-insert gani diha. So nakita niyo diha oh. Di ba? Ini sa question document is ang isa tong taglaon ni ma'am na aton kibali pag ikuha sa Microsoft ito nagka-kuan na siya ito nagka bugto na oh interlineate. Diyon makita niyo din ang isa kibali diyon naka-kuan gani naka John unblock ra kay ni siya nabutang is John gamay ra kan. Unlike there sa previous entry is nakakuha siya. Hindi, oo. Then, there is a superimposition. So, nakita niyo diri ang superimposition go diri is nag-refer siya sa overlaying ng isa ka image para mag-compare siya sa mga features for identification purposes. Then, there is a cancellation. And in cancellation is nakita niyo diri kaning, di ba, date man ini tagbutang diri tag-sample na diri bagan diri sa question questionado ka radyo na di galing siya masabtan kung uno dyan diyan ng mga date then diri sa previous entry makita ra nato ka radyo mabasa ra nato kay diri manggod sa cancellation nag-refer ay ni siya sa mga to the elimination sa isa ka relevant details from the evidence na ato na collect then diri sa erasure ining mechanical erasure so diri sa erasure is amo ni siya ang mga kuan process ra of removing or destroying sa isa ka digital information from a device.
So, obliteration, di ba isa ni ka process na isa ka process of writing over text with the intention na i-hide nila or i-destroy nila ang mga original information. Di ba to obliterate means to blot out. So,
Blotting out.
blotting out mo ni? blot out
So,
blot out so as not be dili mabasa or mabasa pa. Di bali, ang obliteration may be either tinujuan or dili. Then writing may be intentional, obliterated, rendered them imply indesirable. Then indesirable by covering or obscuring with a marking, overwriting, blots of ink or rubber with a pencil or carbon paper, etc.
So, kibali diri sa obliteration sad nag-refer ni siya sa mga complete na mga distraction or erasure na isa ka evidence or information. So, taglawang naman ako dito ang kuan.
Erasure.
Ang erasure is kuan siya itong removing or destroying digital information sa isa ka device. And then tag-alter in an attempt to hide para i-hide kuno ni sa mga original meaning or mga content sa isa ka document.
Chemical erasure. So chemical erasure mo ni ang kuan. Some chemical are used to erase part of the document now. Gamitan siya mga kuan ba? Chemical na pang erasure.
So sa chemical erasure gamitan diha na now pa ini dili ini ang pa ini
Using mga
bleaching agent para to erase para ma-erase itong sa document na gusto nimo pulihan.
So intended writing.
Bag mechanical pa.
Ay napre.
Mechanical.
Dahil sa bangon na.
Dito po erasure.
So, diri sa mechanical erasure, nag-refer ini siya sa mga diri physical mechanical erasure. So, diri nag-refer ini siya sa mga physical destruction of dyan sa mga data gani or storage devices. So, amo ni physical removal of writing, impression of parts thereof may be accomplished kuno by the abrasion of the surface of paper with the help kuno sa rubber erasure, sa mga sharp instruments such as razor, or mga blades na ano na to gamiton mga kuan iton mga knife. Kung sa mga mechanical na
mga kuan
gamiton, oo. This intended writing.
intended writing.
Intended writing.
Ikaw.
Are impression of the original made in the next sheet of paper in a pad. So these are indentation of or impression may not be visible with the unaided eye but can be viewed using an electrostatic detection of apparatus or EDSA.
So kibali diri sa indented writing, kibali ni sa nag-refer sa dinis sa mga intentional or accidental spacing ra kibali ng between sa mga letters or words. In short ra kibali. Nagkuan ra kibali sila nag-refer sila sa mga intentional atong taglaong ngani, intentional or accidental na mga spacing between sa mga letters or of words.
Elements of group.
So, di ba? Dugang ka dili nakabutang methods of alteration. Down dili na itong parts sa erasure. Ang mechanical ko no is a rubbing off with a rubber eraser or escaping off with sharp instrument. Then sa chemical, magkuhan ko no, magamit ang ink, eradicator, or other bleaching solution. So, taglaong naman yung dili. Itong mga alteration, cancellation. So, points to consider as alteration. All alterations ko no must be countersigned alongside them.
Always
Then,
require a
There are
counter.
3 other parts of the check: posting media, the date and pay, and the amount of in words and figure must be examined in chronological systematic matter. Then the counter signature must be in the same kono in form as the main signature. Same kono non form as the main signature. And then the counter signature must be examined. Tapos dapat verified siya and separately from as carefully as a main signature. So diri maganda nga to chapter 10, and then let's proceed sa chapter 11, which is ang forensic examination of counterfeiting Counterfeit currency.
So what is counterfeiting? Counterfeiting is a fraudulent reproduction of currency, whether coins or notes. So counterfeiting bada amoy ni sa pagkopya sa isa ka currency sa isa ka state. It could be coins or papel and kopyahon. Pero kasagaran ini ma-encounter in counterfeiting is ang kasagaran ini nang pa kopyahon or ipikion is katong papel kay which is higher denomination. So mabutang nga din ka ng eskaliboan, kopyahon kay amoy may pinakataas na currency. For example diri sa Philippines.
So, taglaong din ang counterfeiting kuno is the illegal reproduction of currency, ang taglaong ni Patrick. Then, sa document or product with intent to deceive. So, bay naman kamo ng intent, no? Intent to deceive. So,
amoy ni sa counterfeiting, nato ang mga currency or mga bills nato na papel is na ay mga security feature para dili basta-basta makopya ng mga tao na gusto mo pikion na nga to ang papel. So, sana ay madi. So isa na diri atong security feature na nato kwarta kini nga paper print quality and raised print. So amoy ni mga, for example, kining mga nakasiyat sa ato ang kwarta na Republika ng Pilipinas, kini atong ano pinitawag ini
Serial number.
Watermark.
mga watermarks.
Ini consent. Ini nga ni ganin
Consent.
nakakuha ni square diri na gamay. Tapos dahil tawo sign consent value ni sila.
So pag ato ini i-tilt and papel, makita nato diri sa consent value na naay naka-indicate sa na lang pa eskagatos kay 100 man ato ang kuptan. So
Then diri sa na part nakabayan ako mo ano watermarks diri.
So amoy ni nato ang papel is dagay security feature para dili sila basta-basta na makopya. Din naay diri mga amora sina lang pa ni ma'am mga boy amoy ni tagtawag na uni security fiber. Then makita ra sab ni sa ato ang naked eye. Then kining blank diri pag ato ini itapat sa ano pa yung tawag ni sa suga or sa sun is manayat o makita na tawo amoy ni tagtawag na watermarks. Then protecting the Philippine currency. Below are the pertained and law and regulation to protect the and maintain the integrity of the Philippine currency. Philippine laws and question document are discussed further in chapter 14. So, number 1, Article 163 Revised Penal Code, making an important and pottering issuing or circulating false coins. So kini diri na revised penal code na article is ano pa yun is murag isa i-detect katong mga ginapiki balitaw ng mga coins. So katong ang if ever na mahibaw-an na ginapiki ni mga katong na coins, pwede ka makasuhan suyod ani na penal code. So Article 166 Revised Penal Code, forging, treasury, or banknotes are other documentary payable to bearer, importing and pottering such as false or forged notes and documents. Sa diri na article is katong mga banknotes na imo pikion is na katong mga banknotes or mga payable bearers. If ever imo ato pikion is ano imo pwede may kaso sa imo kining suyod sa ingani na penal code. So Article 168 Revised Penal Code, illegal possession and uses of false treasury or banknotes and other instrument of credits. Then number 4, Article 176 Revised Penal Code, manufacturing and possession of instrument or implements for falsification. Number 5, Presidential Decree number 247 prohibited the defacement, mutilation, tearing, burning, or destruction of the certain banknote and coins. So kining if ato ang kini ato ang mga kwarta, if ato ang gisiyo ni or atong sunugon is pwede taong
Bangko. Tama taglaw ni ma'am na John mga kuan ngayon na nga donut, pwede pa ito ko ni change dito sa mga bangko. Bayluan. Ang kuan na daan ba, pwede pa bagya pa ito?
Pwede
Sa
pa,
kuman?
basta
Ay,
sa
dili
lima.
na lang, ma'am, dili na pwede sa kuman.
Basta magisi-gisi ra.
Oo. Sa mga lago.
so dili ang pasabot diri if ever na kanang kuan bitaw inin kanang papel na if imo gisiyon or sunugon is pwede ka para na makasuhan ni presidential decree number 247 so amura di ba kon
Busa.
Tira, pwede
so di ba
Hindi na makita.
so kung
Ay na.
Yeah.
so kung kini ato ang papel if na ay makita sa ato na ato ni gisunag or tagisi if na ay mag-report is pwede ta makasuhan ani na presidential decree.
Kung saan
So,
natin.
Chapter 2, Circulation, Circular 61 Series of 1995, Reproduction and or use of facsimiles or illegal tender Philippine currency note. Then Chapter 7, Chapter 3, Circular 61 Series of 1995, Reproduction or uses of facsimiles or illegal tender Philippine currency coins. So, ano to?
So
So,
that's
dili na magana nga to chapter 11 and we will proceed in chapter 12. Forensic examination of typewriting.
What is typewriter? Ang typewriter kuno is a hand-operated sa isang characteristic printer or for printing, writing message one or character at time. It can be either mechanical or electromechanical.
So, ang typewriter, amoy ni siya katong ang kinaraan na gamito na to create a certain document. Katong bitaw pag mo-type ta,
Dahil ko ng musika,
o dili musibog na siya.
Sibog.
Musibog na kay para ang papel is musibog dito sa kill para mag-con bitaw later dili magka-double-double. So, imo na sab na ibalik pag mapuno. So, imo na
So, ang typewriter ko no is kuan siya mechanical device na used for writing that leaves a visible imprint or paper.
What is typewriting in identification? Identification of typewriting is done primarily to determine the make or model of typewriter used to produce document or whether to particular suspect typewriter may have been used to produce a document. Ang typewriting identification na mo produce ni siya isa ka document or muhimo nan kuan to particular suspect typewriter may to have been used to produce. The typewriter identification is generally requested to in order to determine.
So, kibali diri sa typewriting identification, diri makatabang ko nila sa forensic investigator para mag-match ng type sa document sa isa ka specific typewriters based sa mga unique characteristics gani ni Jack. Yan sa techniques in typewriting.
Sa kinds of typewriters, these are two types of kinds of typewriters. This is a elite or elite is the type of typewriter that can type maka-type na siya ng 12 ka letters or characteristic in one or to an inch and 102 characteristic in whole sheet of paper. Sa pika as big print and can type can characteristic to 1 inch and 85 characteristic in one sheet of paper. And sa kalainan nila sa elite or sa pika and sa elite masibo dito sa sheet of paper
Ibali diri sa elite manggod, ang isa diri is
12 inch.
nakabutang diri o 12 characteristic an inch. So diri sa kuan is 10 ra ka characteristic. Then diri sa kuan is a one whole sheet of paper. Ang maigo ra kibali is 102 ra ka characteristic. While diri sa pika is 85 ra sad sa isa ka
Sheet of paper.
sheet of paper.
Make is
Typewriting defects.
typewriter.
Typewriter defects. That term defects describe any abnormally maladjustment in the typewriter which reflected in works and lead individualization of identification. Sa horizontal mal alignment amo niton aton mo pangalan mga letters mo daw mo takilid gani dili ko normal na dya pagka pagka plaster na normal alignment striking position dili sa offset fit the condition type is printing heavier in the side or corner than our reminder the outline down mulapas kay diri sa ubos amo nang jawi nung diyan taglaw para fit musuboy mo sa nang jawi nung diya manubra sa kan ubos sama ito sa permanent defect. Any identifying characteristic of typewriter which cannot be corrected as simple cleaning typeface or replacing the ribbon in class of permanent defect. Hindi siya kuha na mo doon mga na
Identifying characteristic.
doon di na nga ni di radyo
Ma-correct.
parang ang typewriter amo dyan siya na di mahiloan ka radyo amo siya parang mga letters.
So diri sa platen. Number 4, the cylinder which serves as the backing of the paper which absorb the blow from the typewriter. So ang platen is a device is used para magkuan hold siya sa fingerprint cards in place for any analysis in forensic investigation. Yeah.
Proportional spacing typewriter modern for typewriting which resembles printing in the all of the letters numbers or symbols do not occupy the same horizontal space in the conventional typewriter. Amin is daton mga dili na kun na symbol niya di na symbol na ang mga letters numero di na karadon di na ma-occupy ani sa pagkuan
Typewriter.
So diri sa rebound, defects in which a character prints a double impress on with the lighter one slightly off arc of the right or left. So diri sa rebound, nag-refer sa siya sa mga recovery of deleted or loose data gani in digital examination.
Ribbon made to find cotton fibers numbers according to the quality or grade which may vary from 260 to 270 threads to the square inch and from about 0.5 to 0.6 inch in thickness.
So, ribbon impression. Typewriting which is made directly through a cloth ribbon.
So kibali ni siya magtabang ni siya para pag-identify sa type of ribbon used in a crime.
So, sans serif.
Sans serif, a type of font which has no cross strokes.
Means without.
Means
So,
without.
serif.
A serif font has short cross strokes that project from the top and the bottom of main stroke of a letter. Transitory defects and identifying typewriter characteristic which can be eliminated by cleaning the machine or replacing the ribbon is described as a transitory defect.
So kibali sa transitory defects, kibali ini siya is temporary flaws ini siya in evidence that can be corrected with time.
Sa last is woof threads that run vertically or cross over the wrap form the woof or filling of the ribbon.
So So kibali diri sa wolf gani is amoy ni siya ang isa powerful tool ini siya para magkuan analyze or analyzing and recovering sa deleted data from digital devices.
May example lang sila ng mga
Specimen with that. So makita na to dire ang mga example kining wolf sa mga ribbon kuan filing ng mga enlargement typewritten word under ruled squared of test plate. So makita na dire ang kuan ito nakalain-lain ng mga examples kibay dire kun uno na klase ng mga kuan ito font gani so yato comparison sa typewriting word under sa rule ng square of the test plate, mga kuan words na kuan illustrate different typewriter defects sa abnormalities. Tapos atong mga kuan ining examples of typewriting points of analysis, makita man niyo diri na hining kuan ining gaya nakabutang characterized size kibali itong katasun kibali. Tapos ang style of type kibali sa nila, then ang defects dari yung makita ni sa example sa page 186 din flashing is a vertical spacing kibali sa between sa kada letter gani niya, then ang horizontal spacing sad
doon mo taas.
tapos dahil sa diri parts ng typewriter makita niyo diri arang kaklan di ba dyan mga space bar naka tulo siya kung nakahay siya uno na daw ng klase ng mga parts ng typewriter. So diri maganda nga to chapter 12.
Project ni.
So now we will discuss the chapter 13, forensic examination of printed and photocopied documents.
Examination of computer-generated documents. So, in the digital era of computer typesetting, electronic fonts, and graphical user interface, modern digital computers and output device can conveniently produce image and text on documents. So, ang kanilang computer-generated documents in digital era sa ato kuman sa karon na panahon, ang dokumento mahimo na siya sa pinaagi sa computer sa karon og dugang ni advantage ni siya kay kung mag-type ka additional feature sa maong dokumento imo ni mabuhat kumpara sa old typewriter. Dili ka makaad ba like sa karon kay makaad naman ka kay tungod sa bago naman na generation ka sa una kay di pa ka
Nagkakuan sila ng high-tech
na
na generation.
so additional features yung dugang pa ini ang once na masaya ka sa pag-type dili na nimo siya ma-delete kumpara sa computer kay ma-delete pa nimo sa una kay di mo yung ma-type ka so mo naman to.
So kibali diri sa examination of computer generated documents, kibali ni ang modern document examiner dapat kuno joy knowledge of operating system, versions of words processing programs o mga numerous digital fonts and printer drivers, and also the release dates and etc. Kay tungod this can have kuan man dyan, mga impact gani sa computer generated documents.
Grabe ka impact. Sino na?
So kung ini
Sa
below question that used.
Below are questions that can be used to guide the examination process. So first is the document an original or copy.
So
the-
diri tag indicate diri is the document ba daw an original or copy.
So, the
ang forensic document examiner must attempt to determine if ang evidence ini is original or machine printed rin siya. Document or machine copy. So there is a number 2. Can the printing technology be identified? Dated and so dire kibali identifying the printing technology means attempting to classify the printing process. Then there's a number 3. Has more than one technology been used to prepare the document? So kibali this question kibali usually applies to documents with reinsertion, the page substitution. So ang reinsertion, ang document kibali is placed back into a printer after the parties have signed and agreed to the terms in the document. Kung ma-agree na ko no or mag-sign na. So there is a number 4. In a multi-page document, is there evidence that one or more pages are prepared differently than the others? So as opposed to the previous question, ibali this one involves situation wherein ang entire pages ko no have been substituted within a document but printed in the same printer.
Okay.
So there is a number 5. Is there any evidence that text has been altered or added to the document? So ang examining alteration in computer generated documents means kibali determining in text has been added siya or altered in the same way that ang pages were substituted in the previous question. Then are there any obvious gross defects in the printing and might lead to the machine being individualized? So gross printer defects are rare and problems could point in ink or sa mga toner, cartridge, and other replaceable components. So kibali, this means that ang printing defects ko no evident is a question document na can disappear when the defect components are replaced.
Okay.
So kibali diri ang best way ko no para mag-identify sa printer in this case is to get samples of printers output during the same period as the question document rather than the rely on machine standing taking some later period. So similar to the typewriting, a copier will develop its own idiosyncrasies with time and wear. So kibali sometimes ang rubber backing ko no blanket that holds the original document in place on the glass siya window we reproduce ng mga marks on the copies. So diri na mag-end ang ato chapter 13 and we will proceed to chapter 14 which is the presentation of evidence in court.
Presentation of handwriting evidence. So ako na kani pasabot dito kay gabi ina. So ang presentation of handwriting evidence, so the forensic expert or forensic document examiner muhatag ni siya og mga testimony. Testimony. Sumali siya. Bahin sa iyang mga pag-examine, bahin sa iyang pag-examine sa dokumento og iyan ning explain karon kung unsay.
Sige, nagkatas ba kayo?
So kibali diri sa
So, iyang-
the presentation of handwriting evidence on kibali diri nag-involve siya ng analyzing written samples para mag-determine siya sa isa ka authorship or and sa authenticate documents in legal investigation.
Tama na.
Diri po presentation
So,
of other evidences.
Sige. Presentation of other evidence, so ang typewriting. So dire ang typewriting dire ginalantaw kung unsa na klase nga machine ang ginagamit sa paghimo sa maong dokumento. To bahin ni si Gina explain po ang dokumento sa examiner kung unsay typeface defects nga anaa sa maong dokumento o ginatanaw usab ang misalignment nga maong letra. Number 2, difference in
Differences
X.
So sa differences in inks, kibali diri tag-examine sa diri ang mga kuan, ang document examiner kibali kuno ng mga klase kibali na ink ang gigamit. So kung tag-determine kibali diri kuno na klase ng mga gamit ang taggamit sa pagprinta sa maong printer.
Okay.
So kibali diri sa kuan differences.
Ay, may example sa kuan. Example sa
So kibali sa tay pipila kibali kuno ka kuan aparatos nga gitawag nato na infrared reflection. Then pinaagi kibali ini sa makita nato na malantaw kung naabay obliterated nga gihimo sa maong document kibali. So diri sa kuan
trabalong si ma'am.
so kibali diri sa indented impression when the evidence kuno to be presented uses indented impression. The expert witness must first explain what they are and how they came to be there. So kibali diri lang explain na ang expert witness kuno nga gitawag diri nato is gitawag kibali nato nga document examiner gani bahin siya kuan kibali isa nakita na kuan sa mga documents kibali nga joy mga kuan ngani iton joy mga indented writing kumbaga joy nahitabo og kibali mga lain pa na term na taghulma kibali bahin sa ato ng mga pag-examine kumbaga i-present din siya na document examiner sa court kumbaga mo na iniandad dito sa court. So diri mag-end ang ato chapter 14 and let's proceed
To the last chapter.
the last chapter which is ang Philippine laws on question document. So diri revised penal code crimes against public interest. So Philippine laws relevant to question documents are under title 4 crimes against public interest and revised penal code. These include counterfeiting the great seal of the government of the Philippine Islands, forging the signature or stamp of the chief executive. So diri sa kuan section 1 forging the seal of government of the Philippine Islands, the signature or stamp of the chief executive. Article 161 counterfeiting the great seal of the government of the Philippine Islands, forging the signature or stamp of the chief executive. So kibali diri ang penalty kuno of reclusion temporal ma-impose siya apan sa any person who shall forge sa great sa ini tawo kuno na mag-forge ng great seal of the government of the Philippine Islands or the signature or stamp of the chief executive. Kung kinsa kuno toy mag forge or mag kuan sa isa signature or stamp nan isa ka chief executive. So, an Article 162.
Article 162, using forged signature or counterfeit seals or stamp. The penalty of prison mayor shall be imposed upon any person who shall knowingly make use of the counterfeit seals or forged signature or stamp mentioned in the preceding article.
So, kibalik diri sa kuan, Article 162, ang penalty kuno diri ng prison mayor ma-impose siya apan sa any person or shall knowingly make use sa counterfeit seal or forged signature stamp mentioned in the preceding article. So diri ta sa kuan, Article 166, forging treasury or bank notes and bank notes on other documents payable to bearer importing and uttering such false or forged notes and documentation.
Hapit na.
So
Class na.
kibali ning this Article 166, the forging or falsification or of treasury kuno or bank notes or certificates or other obligations and securities payable to bearers and the important and uttering convenience to the. So by the reclusion temporal kuno, ang ila minimum period and fine nila not dili sa mo exceed ng 10,000 pesos if ang document kuno which has been falsified, counterfeited or altered in obligations or security of the United States or Philippine Islands. So there is a by President Mayor ko no, ang isa maximum period is fine not exceed sa 5,000 pesos. Then there is a President Mayor and each medium period. Ang fine is dili sa mo exceed ng 5,000 pesos. Then there is a President Mayor ang isa its minimum period. Ang fine is dili sa mo exceed ng 2,000 pesos. Pag ang forged ko no or altered document is circulate notarized or bill issued by a foreign bank duly authorized therefore. Article 167 counterfeiting, importing any uttering instrument not payable to bearer. Kubali diri ang any person kuno na mag-forge, import or utter in covenants with the forgers or importers, any instrument kuno payable to order or other document credit is not payable to sa isa ka bearer shall suffer the penalties of prison correctional in each medium and maximum period and a fine not exceeding 6,000 pesos.
So, ito na? Article 168, illegal possession and use of false treasury of bank notes and other instrument of credit. So, unless the act be one of those coming under the probation of any of the preceding articles of any person who shall knowingly use of or have in his possession with intent to use any the false or falsified instrument referred to in this section shall suffer the penalty next lower in degree than prescribed in said articles.
So kibali diri sa chapter 15 Philippine Laws on Question Document, kibali ni siya in forensic investigation establish siya ng mga rules and procedure to determine ang mga validity or mga written evidences presented sa isa ka korte. In article.
So, Article 169, how forgery is committed. The forgery referred to in this section may be committed by any of the following means: by giving to a treasury or bank notes or any instrument payable to bearer or order mentioned therein the appearance of true genuine document. Number 2 is by erasing
Substitutes showing. Sige na. Talo ba din? Oh, yun na. Yun na ba?
by erasing, substituting, counterfeiting, or alternating by any means by figure, letters, words, or signs contained therein.
So, dire na sa article 170 of falsification of legitimate document, ang penalty na makuha nato ay ngani na article is prison correctional and its maximum period and na siya fine na 6,000 pesos shall be imposed upon any person who without proper authority therefore altered any bills or resolution or ordinance enacted for improving a pending approval by either house of legislator or any provincial board or municipality or council.
So kibali diri sa Article 176 manufacturing and possession of instrument or implementation for falsification, ang penalty ko na of prison correctional in each medium and maximum period and a fine kibali dili sa ma-exceed sa 10,000 pesos shall be imposed upon sa isa ka tawo na mag-make siya na introduce in the Philippine Islands sa mga stamps, dice, marks, or other instrument or implements intended to be used in the commission of offenses of counterfeiting or falsification mentioned in the preceding section of this chapter. Kibali kuan diri sa Philippine laws, diri gali sa kuan chapter 15, ang Philippine laws on question document are established para mag-ensure sila sa mga legality and authenticity of legal documents, aton mga signatures, and then handwriting and other documents. So kumbaga this law nagdictates niya ang mga nagdictates diri ang mga procedure to be followed in the examination, verification, and authentication of question documents with the aim of preventing fraud and malpractice. So, we have here ruled 132, presentation of evidence, examination of witnesses. Section 1.
Section 1. Examination to be done in open court. The examination of witnesses presented in a trial. Ang examination daw of witnesses presented in the trial or hearing shall be done in open court and under oath of affirmation unless the witness is incapacitated to speak or the question calls for a different mode of answer. So the answer of the witness shall be given orally.
So, section 2, proceeding to be recorded. The entire proceeding of a trial hearing, including the question of propounded to a witness and his answer 3 to and statement and made by a judge of any parties, counsels, or witnesses with refers to the cases shall be recorded by a means of shorthand or stenotype or by other means of recording found suitable by the court.
So section 3, rights and obligation of a witness. Dibali ang witness kuno is kailangan i-answer ni ang question, then kung unsa ija gi-answer is mo ilaban sa ija.
So, kibali diri sa kuan nga Rule 132, presentation of evidence, kibali diri sa examination of witnesses, ang kibali ang Rule 132 of Philippine Rules of Court provides ng mag-provide sila ng mga guidance on the presentation of evidence and examination of the witnesses in cases involving sa question document. So, it outlines sa mga methods for establishing sa mga atong authenticity of such documents and appropriate procedure for cross-examination of expert witnesses. Kumbaga ini na mga rules is nakatabang sila para mag-ensure ng fairness and impartialities in the judicial processes. Sige na. At section, sige na, pagkuhan.
Section 10. Leading and misleading question. A question which suggests the right witness and answer which the examining party desires is a leading question. Is not allowed except on cross-examination, on preliminary matters,
Section 22.
unwilling or hostile witness.
So, section 20, proof of a private document before any private document offered as authentic, receive and evidence. It is due execution and authenticity must be proven either by anyone who saw the document executed or written by evidence of a genuine of a signature or handwritten or markers. Any private document needed only identified as which it is claimed to be.
Public documents as evidence. Section 23. Documents consisting of entries in public records made in the performance of a duty by a public officer are prima facie evidence of the facts therein stated. All other public documents are evidence even against a third person of the fact which gave rise to their execution and of the date of the latter.
So, kibali diri sa section 28, di ba diri naka-state na ang authentication kuno and proof of document. So, Sa section 28, proof of lack of records. Bali diri, a written statement kuno signed sa isa ka officer having the custody of an official record or by his deputy that after kuno sa diligent search, no record or entry of the specified tenor is found to exist in the records of his office, accompanied by the certificate as above provided is admissible as evidence that the records of his office contain no such record or entry.
So, sales, section 32, there shall be no different, di dapat way kalahian ang sealed sa unsealed private document insofar as their admissible as evidence is concerned.
Section 133.
Section 33.
133.
Documentary evidence in an unofficial language. Documents written in an unofficial language shall not be admitted as evidence unless accompanied with a translation into English or Filipino to avoid interruption.
So, para mag-avoid ko ng interruption or proceedings, parties or their attorneys are directly to have such translation prepared before the trial. So, need si, bali, di ba, kay, di mga kita parehas ng mga language. So, kibali ini si Ja is mag-ankada sa korte, ang idyo mga abogado, kibali, or attorney ni is kailangan nila ng mga John translator para in that case, kibali, kundi magkasinabtanay, at least, that case, kibali, is Ja makatranslate o kung ano yung mo kibali, iton bot pasabot or ano yung mo kailangan na ipasabot sa isa ka court. So kibali ining diri ang Philippine laws on question document, specifically ruled 132, nag-require sila na that evidence kuno must be authenticated and that documents must be proven in order to admitted in the court. So diri kibali inintanan sa chapter 15, kibali ang this ensure that the evidence presented is genuine and reliable and can be used to establish the truth in legal proceedings. So, I hope na Joy na sabtan sa amo discuss or share sa inyo ng mga ideas na mo and knowledge about sa chapter 1 to chapter 15. And diri ra kami mag-end. That's all. Thank you. Bye-bye mga katropa!